welcome to a podcast about something where each week we dive deep into whatever it is we find interesting. I'm your host, Calvin, and we're not actually going to be diving that deep into anything this week. We are both on vacation, myself and Nick, and so instead of your regular scheduled episode, throughout this week, we are putting out all of our Patreon bonus content we're compiling them into single episodes. We'll have a couple random reviews episodes and a couple pilot projections episodes throughout the week. Every day there should be a new episode, so you can go back and listen to some of the things we did on Patreon now that the Patreon is closed. So stay tuned, take a listen. They're just going to run back to back to back, and then there will be another one tomorrow with different episodes that we did. So take a listen. If you like what you hear, there will be more in a day or so. Stay classy. Welcome to a podcast about something's Patreon exclusive. Once a month, we review a random movie released in that month between 1975 and 2015. Alright, so we watched Super 8 for this issue of Random Reviews. Good movie.
Yeah, it is a pretty decent
best movie we've watched so far. I'll give it that.
I don't know. A Force of One was pretty sweet.
I think, so here's the thing. A Force of One might have been more enjoyable, but definitely not a better movie.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, because it was
correct.
It was A Force of One was just like a good romp to sit through, and like it had all these cheesy, funny karate moments. Whereas Super 8, it's like a good movie, but I was a little bored. Like this was probably the third time I'd seen it, and I was a little bored.
I was also, I think it's a frame of mind type thing. Like,
yeah,
I know it was directed by J.J. Abrams.
A lot of lens flare, a lot of classic lens flare in this one.
So now I've kind of started to tune him out, even though he's done some good stuff. Like I do like his Star Wars movies. I think they're the best. I like movie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's
got another
the
one
better
soon,
of the
though.
two. And I'm glad they gave it back to him. But after Transformers and stuff like that, his little classic film tropes that you notice start to irk me.
Transformers? He didn't do Transformers.
Oh, I'm
Star
thinking
Trek.
of Michael Bay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. He did Lost and Star Trek. That, if you put those together, you probably get Transformers.
Star Trek got on my nerves a little bit.
I really liked the first. Like, I was never a Star Trek guy, and I really liked the first one. And
yes.
I don't know that I had seen any of the old movies. I'd never watched any of the TV shows, but like it looked cool. I liked Chris Pine. I was like, all right, I'll check it out. I liked Zachary Quinto at the time because he was coming off Heroes, so I was like, I'll check it out. It's a thing that I should know about, and I really liked that. The second one was fine, and then the third one was like, it wasn't bad. I just like I wouldn't care if the universe kept going anymore.
The first one was good. I do remember watching that. The other two, honestly, I can't say I've ever watched. Just too bad. No. And that's kind of how I feel about that's how I'll feel about this movie going forward. I mean,
I don't know that I want to revisit it anymore. Like maybe when my kids are a little bit older, like it would be a fun one to watch with them. But like you give me a movie where the kids are the ones figuring it out, like that's always a draw for me because kids just have this ignorant exuberance going into it. Like they never, like adults, if they're trying to solve a problem, they always see all the things that can go wrong, where kids are like, nah, this is gonna fucking work.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll just make these little grappling hooks out of coat hangers and let's do it.
Yeah. So that's what I like about these type of movies.
Well, it gives me that Goonies type feel. Like it gets me in that little mood. You know what I mean?
I don't like the Goonies.
What's that?
I don't like the Goonies.
I don't either, but it's a good,
We're too young
fun
for
time
it.
story. I like it. I always like the saying, "Goonies never say die."
Yeah, that's
and
good.
I did say that with my friends like a loser. So, ha, joke's on you, buddy. But it kind of reminded me of It, in the sense that it's like this group of friends discovering a supernatural entity.
Right, and them being the ones to have to deal with it, not, searching out adults to solve the problem.
Well, and it's this big it's honestly, it's almost like a proto Stranger Things. I mean, without the telekinetic deal.
You've got a little bit of Stranger Things, a little bit E.T., Goonies, like you said, a little bit of Cloverfield. Like,
I do like that movie.
there's a lot of different things going into this that, I mean, it's good for it.
Yeah, and if
Little
you guys were wondering,
Godzilla, kind of Red Dawn with the military cover up. Like, there's a lot in there.
there's a lot to process in this movie, and basically some kids are trying to make a movie for school, I want to say, or like a contest type
Yeah,
deal.
some contests. They're trying to make a movie. They're using Super 8 film, which is the name of the movie.
So cheeky.
Yeah. But their movie was pretty good. They show it all at the end, and it was solid for like a 12, 13-year-olds making a movie.
I mean, give those guys a contract. They need to direct the next DC movie.
They couldn't be worse than what we've got.
I don't think so. Honestly, I'd like to see that. It might be half decent. Cheesy as all hell, but
yeah,
we'll see.
So one of the kids, the main character, his mom dies in some accident at the factory that she works at, and like in these movies, this is an old movie, but movies that take place, I don't know, before 1990, and even some that take place in the night, like dads are just completely useless when it comes to their kids.
No shit, man, and that was a bad trope.
Like all of the people at the funeral are like, oh man, I don't know how Kyle Chandler, whatever his character's name is. I don't like Kyle Chandler, by the way. I'm not a Friday Night Lights guy. I've never watched Friday Night Lights, so like I don't give him all this credit that everyone else does because he always plays like a dickbag in everything else he's ever done. So
Then he's
anyway,
a dickbag.
Everyone's just like, oh, he's not going to be able to handle it, and everyone's, oh, he'll manage, he'll figure it out, and I'm like, what? He's lived with this kid for 12 years. He didn't know anything about him, and clearly he doesn't.
I mean, yeah.
We get the first scene between the two of them. He's trying to talk him into going to like some sports camp or something. The kid doesn't give a shit. He wants to, make movies with his friends. And like, that's the other trope is like dad doesn't understand what his kid wants to do. Like, and honestly, as a dad, it's not that hard to be interested in what your kids are doing.
Hell no, man. It's your kid. Like, my kid's not even 2 months old yet, and I'm just in awe of everything she does. It's like, oh my God, look at you.
Like, I have two little girls. My 4-year-old is into Barbies and princesses and fairies and things like that. Just things that were never on my radar as a kid or as an adult. And like, it's really not that hard to go, oh, you're watching Barbie? That's cool. Let me see. Oh, Barbie's doing this today.
I mean,
it's not that big a deal. Like, so I never got like this trope of like the dad's into sports, but the kid's into this nerdy thing. So the dad just can't figure out what the kid's going through. It's like, well, maybe if you fucking talk to him.
What's
talk
terrible,
to your kids,
though,
people.
Exactly, and that's what I hate about it is I know several people like that's happened to, and they have these horrible relationships with their parents because they can't fucking discuss anything because their parents are just numb to them. Luckily, my father is awesome in that regard, but it's definitely a real trope, and I think that's what's so annoying about it.
Is that it? Yeah, it actually happens in life, and that there are people like that.
Exactly, and I'm sitting, as a third-party observer, and you look back, it's just like, Jesus, just make the kid a sandwich and let him go make movies. And right as rain, cool.
Yeah.
Making movies, great. You don't have to watch them. Just tell them they're cool.
Or do watch them, and maybe you'll find out that what he's doing is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, most definitely, I agree with that.
So yeah, that I never understood that either. Basically, and then they recruit this girl to be in the movie, basically just to fridge her. Do you know what fridging is?
I don't know what that is.
So this is a term that's come up. It happened in the latest Deadpool movie, supposedly, and it was this thing that came out of a Green Lantern comic where Hal Jordan came home from one of his space trips, basically, and his girlfriend had been killed and stuck in his fridge. So he went to go make himself a sandwich, and boom, girlfriend's head's in the fridge. Basically, killing her is the only thing giving him motivation to stop the bad guy. So they want to bring this girl in to do the same. Like, they tell her straight up, like, we need you in this movie in order to give the main character of our movie something to do, like a reason to do what he's doing. It's frowned upon nowadays.
Well, it sounds too easy.
It's
zero
giving
development.
giving a BS explanation of why the main character is doing something, and it's taking any of the agency out of the female character and saying she's just there to die, so the male character has something to do. And honestly, the movie itself, Super 8, does that as well. Like the main characters aren't going to do anything until she's kidnapped. Like, they're just fine, like, evacuating, doing everything else, and then she's kidnapped, and they go along. And then they're like, oh, shit, now we really need to go.
Yeah, bad news.
Yeah. So that it's frowned upon nowadays that doing that to female characters or love interests in any form. So I thought it was funny that it happened in this movie and in the movie within the movie.
It's so meta.
Yeah.
God, J.J. Abrams, you fuck.
A funny thing happened though, like when they first recruited her, she was the one driving them out to the where they were shooting. And like she pulls up and sees the kid, and the main kid, his dad's like the town deputy or whatever, because they're in a small town in Ohio, I want to say.
Yeah.
I guess
Ohio.
it doesn't really matter.
Lillian, Ohio.
Yeah. So she pulls up and she's like, "Oh shit, no, I don't have a license. I can't drive him." I'm like, "Okay, first of all, he's already seen you. Second of all, he's not just gonna go tell his dad that you drove him. Like he knows that's illegal. Like kids make the silliest jumps in logic of like, oh, because this kid's here, I can't do anything."
Right? And then they do shit like set the car on fire. Like,
Yeah.
oh, he can't even know I was here.
They do much less stuff. Yeah, they do much worse stuff. Did you ever, as like a kid, did you have any of those like irrational thoughts of like how you thought laws and rules worked?
Yeah, I had several. God. Yeah, I can't. I know I did. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head.
I always thought like stores' inventory systems were a lot smarter than they actually are. Like if like I didn't shoplift or steal anything ever, but like if you were to steal something, they would know exactly what you stole and they'd be able to track it down and everything like that. And it's like, well, no, most stores probably wouldn't know and barely even know if you'd walk out of it. And or like if you did the like swapping price tags on something, like somebody would know that they have an extra one of these and one less of one of these, but like nobody would ever know that. Like no stores other than like probably super corporate stores, Target, Walmart, like these really huge stores that have a big corporate upline, like they probably have sophisticated inventory systems, but no one else really does.
Yeah, and honestly, for me, it was something as simple as I always felt like someone was watching. Like I felt like there were cops everywhere.
Yeah.
So I mean, I remember one time I was going through Meijer with my dad, and I stopped in the toy aisle to look at some cards, some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I want to say, or Pokemon. And there was just someone had ripped open like 12 packs of cards. So there's just shit everywhere. Tons of free cards, and I'm just standing there like, damn, I see this holographic card I really want, but I can't. So I'll get arrested. I'll go to jail.
Yeah, same thing. Like, I'm just going to grab this. I'll put it in my pocket while I walk over to show my mom. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't put it in my pocket. They'll know. Like, then they'll think I'm stealing it before I stole it. Like, Minority Report shit. Yeah.
Kids have funny logic, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, they definitely do. Hit us on Twitter if you had any, like, weird kid logic that you thought you were breaking laws when nobody would know the difference. That I always get a kick out of that. So they go out to film their movie and they just happen upon a train passing by, and the fat kid who's the director, really annoying fat kid, but did a great job.
Yeah,
like he was supposed to be annoying, I think.
I mean, I feel like that's another trope they put in movies is the fat kid's annoying, or like a loner, or just super sad and just something.
Yeah, so as they're filming the train, they witness the train wreck and get it all on film. And from this train wreck, we get, a couple lingering questions for the rest of the movie. What was on the train? Why was it sabotaged? Because somebody drove onto the track specifically to crash it. So why was it sabotaged? And what are these little cubes that they end up finding on the train?
Yeah, there's a bunch of weird shit that happened. I mean, it was a weird series of events.
Yeah.
And the way they kind of hyped it up in the moment, it's like, okay, here's the climax of the movie.
And then we've got kind of like the next hour of the movie is pretty boring. We've got, the military government cover up. The kids are
standard shit. It's the standard shit.
The kids are trying to a little bit trying to figure it out, but a little bit not, because the bio teacher, who's a doctor and for some reason working as a middle school biology teacher, he kind of warns them, like, don't say anything to anyone. They'll kill you. They'll kill your families, blah, blah, blah. So like they have these kind of half conversations, and then halfway through each conversation, they're like, well, no, we don't want to talk about it because we're afraid for our families. So it was just a lot of them treading water until the girl got kidnapped and they needed to actually do something.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like those kids would have told, like, first thing, this crazy shit they had, Mom, You would never believe
Especially
this.
that fat kid. You think that fat kid kept his mouth shut for more than 10 seconds about this thing?
Hell no. And
No.
especially after an adult was like, hey man, if you say some shit, you might get killed. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but even in the 1970s, stranger danger was a thing. And if your teacher was like, hey, you might get killed if you tell people about this shit, I would go straight to my dad and be like, hey dad,
Especially
what's
if
up?
he's with the police force. But yeah, so we get a kind of military government cover up going on. The local police force is kind of trying to push back against them. There's some missing dogs in there, a couple missing people. A lot of the
missing
people
electronics and stuff. Too?
Yep, I think so. Missing or malfunctioning or both?
Both.
Both. Okay. And everyone's pretty quick to blame the Russians. It's got to be the Russians. The Russians are doing this because in the 70s, why wouldn't you?
Dude, my dad still blames the Russians for shit. It's ridiculous. And he says the Ruskies. Oh, the Ruskies are listening. And my dad's a smart guy. So, I mean, I think it's hilarious that they threw this
I mean, the
trope.
Ruskies are responsible for some things these days, too, though.
Well,
Gotta watch out for that Putin.
Yeah, no shit. Putin's a fucking scumbag.
Hey, now, don't get us taken off the air.
I would like to see them try.
I don't think we're in Russia. I don't think
This
anyone's
is
listening
America.
in Russia. So.
Yep. Well, if anyone in Russia is listening and they just heard us say this, we're sorry if you get sent to the gulag.
Yeah.
RB.
Not our fault. You shouldn't be listening to things you're not supposed to. So we find out the girl, her name's Alice. Her father caused the accident that Joe, the main boy character's mother, died in. He caused that accident, but he didn't really cause it. He just called in to work sick, and she covered his shift. So, like, how is that his fault?
That is not his fault in reality.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just purely an accident.
Like,
but I guess
can
that's
get
one
him,
way to
I
create
can get
animosity.
him blaming himself a little bit, but, like, okay, maybe she didn't know how to do the job, so then why was she doing that job that the accident occurred if she's covering for him? Or, like, he's the senior man on that. Like, I get kind of these leaps and bounds that can be made, but at the same time, like, accidents are accidents, and, like, just because somebody didn't show up for work doesn't mean the person who did show up is there. If he had shown up, that doesn't mean he would have died in the same situation. Like, it was an accident. I don't know why the rest of the... I can see why he blames himself a bit. I don't know why the rest of the town would blame him.
Yeah. A little bit. But I don't know. It's hard to say. If I called off work, but at the same time, I'd be looking at management like, yo, what the fuck? Why were they doing this gig they weren't qualified for? What's up?
Exactly. So then the girl gets kidnapped by the monster, which is pretty good scary monster, I'd have to say.
One of the better ones.
This was in the time where everything like had the long spindly legs. It would usually have like 4 or 5 legs, kind of spider-like.
Yeah.
Looks a lot
Tons
like the
of
Cloverfield
eyes.
monster. Yeah.
Yeah. Cloverfield monster was a good monster too, though.
Mm-hmm. So then these the 2 boys are trying, or the 5 boys, I guess, are trying to go find her, and the fat kid and the main character kind of get in a fight because teenagers in movies always get mad at each other because they both like a girl or they don't like a girl or like whatever, but they're always getting mad at each other over girls. And like, I never did this with my friends. Like, we knew which girls we liked, and all right, that was that dude's girl. We didn't go after her. We went and found the next girl.
Well,
or
I mean,
vice versa.
It was a competition for sure. It was always a healthy competition. It was like, hey,
right. If she wasn't already taken,
exactly,
and 2 guys like the same girl, then it was like, okay, yeah, let's kind of duke it out a little bit. But if it was like, okay, you've kind of, and I'm not trying to take agency away from girls in this situation. Like, I know they're their own people and they can make decisions based on who they like. Like, just because I liked a girl didn't mean she liked me.
Well, yeah, exactly.
But
that's
like
what we
among
have to do
boys, that's kind of like what happens is like you kind of talk to each other and are like, I think I'm gonna go after this girl now, and they're like, oh no, I kind of liked her, and you're like, no, I'm still gonna go after her.
Exactly, and at the same time,
it would never come to this like where you repress it and blow up at each other about it.
No, I've never fist fought any of my buddies over a female, but it was always like
anyone. So,
hey man, story for another day. But I've had plenty of females that are, they're beautiful creatures. You're a teenage boy, birds and the bees.
Yeah.
And it comes down to, hey bro, I think she's hot. You think she's hot? May the best man win. But the second there's a front runner, there's second like. The girl doesn't reciprocate.
Yeah, you move on.
the feelings towards you. Exactly. You move the fuck on. And it's like, hey, bro, good luck to you. I mean, fist fighting is over some. Yeah, that's dumb. Another trope. This movie is full of cliches.
Yeah,
My
it
God.
really. I think this was J.J. Abrams' first movie that he directed.
I'd be curious to know if that is true.
I'm gonna have to look that up while we're talking. So it turns out the doctor, who's a middle school teacher, was part of the secret government cover-up. He actually wanted to communicate with the monster, and the government didn't like that, so they pushed him down to being a middle school teacher. Apparently, good for him.
Another weird trope.
Yeah, the monster can create this psychic connection just by touching. So like, what I don't get is the government tested with these blocks and everything, and then didn't make any progress. So like, at some point, somebody's telling you the monster wants his ship back. Like, just give it to him. I don't get why you continue testing. Like, what new test are you gonna do to figure it out? At some point, you got to cut your losses.
Because we're human beings, dude.
Yeah.
and we stomp shit long after it's been stomped 500 different ways. We're weird.
Yeah.
We're weird.
Yeah.
It is another cliche. Oh my goodness.
That's true. We just keep hitting them.
I would love to have some leverage though over like an alien.
Well, that's what I'm
monster
saying.
type thing.
If you help him out, maybe he'll throw you a bone here. Maybe he'll show you how to use the cool little blocks that build a spaceship, like their Legos. Like, that was a cool spaceship too.
That was a cool spaceship, and that was probably one of my favorite little things about it, that it could change its shape.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that was really practical. Surprisingly practical, honestly.
Oh, he had done Mission Impossible 3 before that. Oh, he also directed an episode of The Office, Cocktails. Fun fact.
Not ringing any bells.
Cocktails? The one where they go to David Wallace's house and have cocktails? Karen and Jim are dating. Karen keeps telling Jim that she dated everyone else at the party. Jim and David Wallace go out and play basketball.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, he did a lot before this. He did Mission Impossible 3. The first Star Trek was even before this. Okay.
So he had plenty of time to work on his cliches.
Yeah.
So he's just like, dude, I'm fucking doing it. He's talking to all his buddies. Like, hey, man, I'm doing it. No, man, don't do it, JJ. I'm fucking doing it, bro. I'm making a movie with every
I got one
cliche
more cliche to put in it. Don't worry.
And everything.
Well, even the ship and how it came together, like, that was kind of a thing that went on. So this movie was made in 2011. And this was like this thing that kept happening in movies around that time, was there would be all these little pieces that would come together to form this big thing. Like Big Hero 6, you have kind of the same thing, where they developed this material that's just a little thing, and like nanotechnology was becoming a cool thing. So it was always like all these little things come to make one big thing. And so, yeah, another cliche there.
Poor JJ.
Yeah, well, it's not his fault. Then the kid gives up his mom's locket at the end as the alien flies off. Wait, why are you giving up that locket? Like, that's your connection to your mom. You can just hold that. The ship will be gone in a minute.
I guess that's the last piece it needed, apparently.
I
it
guess
just had to have that
I mean, there's a lot of other metal around, though, I think.
That's a greedy alien. That greedy pig. What a jerk.
I mean, that's pretty much the whole movie. I really liked it the first time I saw it, I remember. This time, by the third time, not so much. You kind of pick up on all these cliches. The kids all really did a good job, though. Like, it's hard when you have 6 or 7 kid actors, and they all did a pretty good job of what they were doing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll say this for this movie: the first time through, if you don't have time to poke holes in it and you're just watching a movie, it's a good movie.
Yeah, when you're watching it with like an analytical mind and like trying to break it down, then you kind of see these things that we pointed out.
Yeah, major things, but.
So just have fun if you're going to watch it. Yeah,
exactly. Look at it like we did in our past episode we did for our random reviews, A Force of One. It was just a fun romp. Same kind of thing. It's a fun little romp. You'll watch it, throw it on in the background, and it's a good movie to have, but it's not something I'm going to watch 25 times.
No, it's definitely well made, but it's not a watch over and over again. Like I said, I probably won't watch it again until my kids are old enough to watch it, because I think they'd probably like it at that point. But for right now, it is what it is, and it's going to stay where it is. You got a rating for it?
I'm going to give it a solid 7.
Ooh, straight 7. I'll give it like a 7.6, because it is really well made, and I really remember enjoying it the first time. Just after rewatches, it kind of wears a bit thin.
Yeah, I'm giving it the 7 for rewatchability factor.
Yeah, I get that.
it's still a decent rating. I'll give it that.
All right, so that brings us to time to pick next month's movie. We're going back to straight random. This one was we fudged it a little bit and picked something that we knew we liked, or at least would enjoy watching. But this time we're going straight random. In the month of July, between 1975 and 2015, there were 505 movies released. So we go to our random number generator, and we get number 205. Stormbreaker. 2006 action adventure directed by Jeffrey Sachs. 5.1 on IMDb, 93 minutes. So at least it's not a long, bad movie. Let's look it up.
Stormbreaker. Yeah, I mean that's the name of Thor's hammer, bro.
Yeah, it's got to be good, right?
I'm there. It's a Marvel tie-in. Easter egg.
Might not be able. Yeah, this doesn't exist on IMDb, so we will not be watching that.
Dang. Okay.
Where'd it go? Why is it there? Jeffrey Sachs. Let me just look him up and see if he exists. Jeffrey Sachs. He does not exist on IMDb. Awesome. So okay.
I'd laugh if that was like a porno or something.
Stormbreaker. All right, we're gonna delete that one off the list.
All right.
I spelled it wrong. That's why. There he is. Hold on. Let me just see if I can look through his IMDb and find him. Or find this movie. 2006. Alex Rider, Operation Stormbreaker. Okay, that's different. Just has a little bit different name. After the death of his uncle, the 14-year-old schoolboy is forced by Special Operations Division of the UK's Secret Intelligence into a mission which will save millions of lives. All right, now I want to watch this.
Yeah, that sounds dope. Let's do it.
It's called Alex Rider, Operation Stormbreaker. So I just didn't have the full title there.
God damn it, Calvin.
Sorry, that's not my fault. It was the list I found. No one I know in it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, Ewan McGregor, Bill Nighy. Okay.
Yeah, I'm always
Mickey Rourke, Andy Serkis, Alicia Silverstone. Oh shit.
And it got a 5.1, you said?
Yeah, this is those people in 2006 now. Alicia Silverstone was not popular for about 8 years at that point.
Yeah, that's true. And Mickey Rourke, I mean, he's had like 38 plastic surgeries by that point.
Yeah. Ewan McGregor should have been on his game, though. This will be interesting. I like that.
He's probably still recovering from the Star Wars prequels.
I don't think there's anything to recover from there. Great movies. Oh, rated PG. Can't get it on DVD, Netflix. That sucks.
Yeah, we'll have fun finding this for you folks. Thank God for digital stuff.
Yeah, hopefully it exists. All right, well, that's all we've got for today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a patron.
We love you guys.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for stopping by.
The Bible says man without vision shall surely die.
Welcome to a podcast about some things Patreon exclusive. Once a month, we review a random movie released in that month between 1975 and 2015.
I said, baby, I don't hate you, but I hate to see you go.
We got another random review coming in hot this month.
It's an epic one.
Operation Stormbreaker.
Yeah, you better get it right. You need to respect this movie.
Alex Rider, Operation Stormbreaker.
Stormbreaker!
Has nothing to do with Thor's axe.
Or storms.
No storms. Stormbreaker is the name of a computer that is going to be placed into schools with a virus.
Spoilers.
Spoilers if you're going to watch this. Actually, based on a book series, a young adult book series, really launched in the time of the young adult boom. This was...
that explains so much right off the bat.
Yeah, this movie came out in 2006. I want to say the book series is something like 20 books strong.
Holy Christ! Oh my God!
More movies, but this one was not really very good, so they didn't keep making movies.
See, honestly, from the get-go, I thought this was just a parody movie.
No.
Like how we have in American spy movies, the English dude's the bad guy,
Yeah.
whereas in this, the English dude is, or the American dude is the horrible bad guy.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke is the bad guy. But honestly, I don't know how we had never heard of this. 2006, I was in college. We've got Ewan McGregor, Alicia Silverstone, Bill Nighy, Mickey Rourke, and Andy Serkis is in there.
Yeah, they had a lot of really, and Damian Lewis from Band of Brothers was also in that. I mean, they had a lot of people in there, which was surprising.
It had a lot of promise. It's a just a little background. It is a spy movie following a teenager. Basically, his uncle gets killed, and he gets thrown into basically his uncle's life of being a spy and investigating this evil company that wants to put these computer viruses in the schools.
Yes, that's creating the Stormbreaker system, and at the head of that is Mickey Rourke's evil character. Which I was fucking pissed, dude. Ewan McGregor was in this movie for like 6 minutes, if that.
Yeah, they gave him really high billing though, because like he was just coming off of Star Wars and probably a couple other things, and then he was in and out pretty quick. But this, like I said, this was that big YA boom. And I guess it was really easy for stuff to go under the radar, and you never knew what was going to hit or not hit. Like Hunger Games and Twilight blew up, but and Maze Runner for some reason got 3 movies, but something like Percy Jackson only got 1 movie and a straight-to-DVD sequel, which I really thought the Percy Jackson story, I watched that movie, and the movie's not really that great, and the actors aren't great, but I thought the framing of it, the story is really cool.
Well, yeah, I mean, they had a lot to choose from, too. Like Aragon, Artemis Fowl, they had a bunch of stuff to choose from, and they I don't know, it was kind of booty. It was one of those booty meat books they chose.
Yeah, and, so this one also, it got 1 movie and died on the table quickly after, because I tried to see, like, I can tell it was supposed to be a series, so I'm like, alright, where's the rest of the series? Does it exist? It doesn't. This is the only movie they made. And all of the IMDb trivia is not even about the movie. It's like, well, here's where all 20 book series go. It's like, we don't care what goes on in this movie. Here's what the books do.
There wasn't much information about it, and I was really, it's tough for me to click OK on the $3.99 bill for that, or $2.99, however much it was.
I would like to get that money back. Amazon, if you're listening.
Shout out Jeff Bezos. Yeah, I need it. I'm a penny pincher.
We do get a Harry Potter shout out in the movie at one point.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, really, really strange. I kind of like these types of stories where it's a kid that gets taken out of his comfort zone and thrown in this world where he's way over his head. I mean, we just did our episode on Spider-Man, and this kind of goes right along with that of you take this teenager and put him in over his head. He has no idea what's going on in this world, and he's got to figure it out and use whatever he can to get through it. Uses teenager ways to get through it. I usually really like that stuff, but this movie was just not very good.
It took it so over the top. Like, from the moment the funeral for his uncle goes down and he catches, like, the bad guy stealing his uncle's shit, and he takes off on the 10-speed, it's just like, okay. And he's just booking it through London, like, pumping as hard as he can, and you can tell he's, like, hardly moving, but he's keeping pace with this band somehow. It's incredible. And then, it boils into
He's been trained his whole life to become a spy. Like,
I fucking guess, but I mean, you can't train to predict traffic in London. You just throw that out there. But and then going to the junkyard and somehow surviving the vehicle being crushed. Yeah, and then just kung fu roping a bunch of giant junkyard dudes and a dog. It's like, okay. They really dove right in as soon as they did that. It's like, oh, okay, I see what kind of movie this is.
So the kid that plays Alex Rider, the main character, his name is Alex Pettifer, and there was a time in the late 2000s, early 2010s, I thought he was going to be huge. He was in I Am Number 4. He was in this Beauty and the Beast remake called Beastly with one of the Olsen twins. Like, they were really trying to throw him into all this young adult stuff, and then he just stopped being a thing.
So he's just not good. He's not very good.
He's really not good in this movie. I liked him in I Am Number 4.
Never seen that.
Beastly is not good. Well, I Am Number 4, that's another one that should have been a series and got cut off after the first one. So don't waste your time watching it because it's not a full movie.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So then, he goes into the spy life. We have this super cheesy training montage of him.
Oh my god!
That's been the worst part of the movie.
It's just like, let's just dump this 14-year-old kid into a special ops training facility. We have no names here, as they try to punk him out.
He just jumped around days. It was like day 1, day 9, day 14, day 3. It was like, what the hell? What's going on with these days?
Seriously. And of course, he has the heart-to-heart with his platoon mates, and they have his back, which comes in later.
Yes, they do. And then we get a lot of scenes between Bill Nighy and Alicia Silverstone, where they're just, I don't know what they're doing with their faces, but they're going for it. Whatever it is, they're just making facial expressions, doing some weird things with their voices. It
was cracking me up. It was cracking me up, though.
So, again, the evil plan is we're going to put these computers with a computer virus into the schools, and this special ops branch of MI6 doesn't trust the Mickey Rourke's character. They don't trust the guy behind it. And I just have to wonder, because they say, Alex Rider asks him, why are we going after this guy? He just seems like a nice guy putting computers in schools. And Bill Nighy's character goes, we don't trust him. That's what we do. We don't trust him. All right, it pays off in this case, but how many times are you wrong on that stance?
Yeah, I bet a lot.
How many people are you sending on secret missions to go look at these factories and they're like, nah, man,
there's nothing here.
Cheese here.
Yeah. Fucking boy, I quit actually. I'm going to get a job here. The cheese is very good.
We just wasted all this time and effort training me, but, this is all on the up and up.
Peace out.
Sometimes that happens. They just trust absolutely no one.
Yeah, I don't know. The Brits.
Yeah, so their big plan is they're going to send Alex in as this other kid who won a contest from a magazine, a quote-unquote computer nerd magazine.
Dude, okay, the next 20 minutes of this movie are so wonky. Dude, my head was spinning at this point, because you quickly find out that the bad guy's Mickey Rourke. And it's just full on Mickey Rourke, and then he wins the raffle or whatever. They kind of work him around, and then they send him to a goddamn toy store. A toy store to get his gadgets.
Well, I'm not there yet. I'll get to the gadgets in a minute. But so he doesn't win the raffle. Some other kid wins the raffle, but they make him pretend to be that kid basically and put his picture on the magazine. And his big problem is he says, well, I'm not a computer nerd, which I'm really happy with use of computer nerd.
Seriously, you geek.
So, the MI6 people, they hand him 4 books, and they're like, you will be. And
read this very quickly.
They're not 4 good books on, one of them is Windows XP for Dummies.
Dummies, yeah, I saw that too.
Let me just tell you, as a computer nerd, Windows XP for Dummies is not going to get you there. I didn't see what the other 3 books were, but having that book in your hand, not going to help. That's here's where the start menu is. Here's how you open MS Paint.
Well, I mean, what's funny is that was the only spine that pointed towards the camera, so it was the only thing you could see. I felt like everything else was turned around.
I thought about pausing it and trying to zoom in and frame by frame, and I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah, fuck Alex.
I guarantee they're not good books.
No, if that's the one I'm seeing, if that's the one catching my eye, it's not.
That's the one they're showing us. The other 3 aren't any better. And
watch the rest, just be like...
We'll go to the gadgets, but he gets there and doesn't actually use any of the computer nerd knowledge. They're just like, here's this thing.
He's like, cool, yeah, sweet.
Yeah. Let's get into the gearing up scene. He goes to the toy store, which the gearing up scene is always the best part of any spy movie. See what kind of gadgets you get.
They gave him some dumb... I thought I was watching the Austin Powers movie.
Yeah.
It was just like, what? They give him a goddamn yo-yo? Like a fucking yo-yo?
It had basically Spider-Man's spiderwebbing as the strength.
Yeah, but how far does it go? Either way, it was just like, okay, that is obviously not a real yo-yo. That looks so fake. Yeah. And then metal melting zit cream?
I don't think he ever used that one either.
Yeah, he did. He used it towards the end. Okay. But what else? They give him a Nintendo DS.
Yeah, great
with
placement by Nintendo.
Yeah. 4 separate cartridges. This one's a tracking device, and this one's like a smoke bomb, and
he's got Mario Kart.
Yeah, it's not Mario, bro. It's Mario. Why do I have Mario Kart? Because for your flight.
To play it on the flight.
He's also a famous guy too. I think he was in V for Vendetta.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like that guy. Like he's in a lot of movies, but you would
Yeah.
never. He's not ever a star of any movies.
I don't know. Either way, during the gearing up scene, I'm just like, the fuck is this? What are you showing me? This is so dumb. You give him a goddamn Game Boy? For real? Okay.
So then he goes to test out the Stormbreaker, and it's like this big VR rig. VR is still not this cool, and I feel like it never will be. Like,
No, they went really over the top.
Space.
Yeah, I know. He's just, and it's perfectly, like, clear and clean, and,
How are you going to put 70,000 of those in schools?
Yeah, no shit. You think a school district is going to pay for that?
All the time. Well, no, he was giving them for free. That was the point.
But you gotta have operating costs.
Yeah.
Like, that's gotta be insane, especially, like...
Really hot, too.
Oh, yeah, I bet. And kids breaking stuff, and, yeah, I want to give a shout-out here to his, what is her name? Nadia. Nadia. Yeah. She's from Gotham. And what is she doing? Oh, dude, she's going for it hard, my man.
It's super weird because she figures out that he's Alex Rider, and she goes to like try and figure out more about him. So she goes and has this like super awful chick fight with Alicia Silverstone. I closed my eyes for a little while and I thought I was watching Wimbledon. Because of all it was a really bad fight.
It was not very good. And then she got with a pufferfish.
Yeah. And her hand, I like that. That was funny because her hand kept like swelling more and more throughout the
Never paid off.
Oh,
it's too bad.
That just kept happening.
I liked it. I was waiting for her to like just drop dead from it though.
So then Alex finds the secret lair underneath the factory where they're literally injecting a virus into computers.
I know, like an organic virus.
That's not how computer viruses work.
Well, I mean, it's an actual...
Yeah, it pays off. It's an actual virus, but, like, this kid who read Windows XP for Dummies and those 3 other books, he thought...
Yeah, it's just seeing this, and he's like, this looks logical. This looks right. I'm scared now.
Where he thought it was, like, a computer virus. He's like, why are you infecting them with computer virus? I saw you injecting it. And he's like, oh, wait. It's a real virus.
No, all those innocent people. It's like, dude, what the fuck? And it's like a giant syringe with like neon green liquid too, and it goes. Exactly. Surely did later.
We finally find out that the whole evil plan is he's injecting this actual virus into these computers. And he has basically a kill switch that the Prime Minister is going to push on launch day, and it's going to aerate the virus into all the schools, and millions of kids will die, including the Prime Minister, because the Prime Minister bullied him when he was a kid.
I know, and called him Darius Smells. He's really going to kill millions of people. What a booty-ass booty.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, how long has he been planning this?
Forever. Mickey Rourke looks 100.
Genius. You got to be a millionaire. You've got to figure out how to, get up with these guys who can put the virus in your computers. You got to build the backup in your tower. Very strange. And then we get,
so much.
So they stop it. They stop the Prime Minister from pushing the button, but there's a failsafe. There's a backup button in the tower. Mickey Rourke's racing to get there. Alex Rider figures this out, and then we get the high-speed horse race.
Dude, okay, we gotta go back a little bit.
Oh, okay, then.
So from the high-speed horse race, okay, isn't this after... Oh, man, I got so lost.
Accurate parachuting?
Yes, so he escaped, so he escaped from this compound, he shot a harpoon into a fucking runway-using helicopter, and then he...
Legit, I saw them do that like 3 times in Fast and Furious 6.
I've never seen anything like that, but anyways, and he takes over... I'm not. Hobbs and Shaw, I'll be there. And he takes over Andy Serkis, just fly me to London, bro. And then he jumps out of a plane, parachutes down with no goggles, seeing perfectly clearly.
Pinpoint accuracy.
Yeah, pinpoint accuracy. And instead of just like yelling out, "Don't touch that button," he sees his homeboy from Special Ops training, gets his gun, and then shoots the button. Shoots it, dude.
So
yeah.
I was doing laundry while I was watching, so I kind of missed some of the details like that.
I mean, he shot the button, and like it took the whole clip, and then he kind of like sits back for a second, like, job well done. Yeah, I'm a beast.
So then him and Alicia Silverstone realize that they're going back to the office building or whatever. They get stuck in traffic, obviously, but he sees his wannabe girlfriend on her horse with her riding class, and he commandeers the horse.
Yeah, he's like, hey, yo, give me that.
Well, she goes with him, and then, like, I don't know what was going on, but the people who made this movie must have thought that this high-speed horse action was really, really fucking cool. It was not.
It was not cool at all.
It was really stupid. But, so there's a really good story. One of the few things I found out on the IMDb trivia, really good story behind this. Because the actor was only 15, in the books, it's a car chase to get back to the office. But because he was only 15, he couldn't drive a car. And instead of using a stunt double, they came up with this idea to do it as a horse chase instead.
Yeah, what about the ATV? I mean, he drives on that ATV. You don't need a license for it.
Or, like, it's probably a closed course. He can probably drive, because they're shooting a movie. Or
that is so lame.
Get a 16-year-old stunt double with a wig.
Yeah, I mean, any 17-year-old blonde could rock that role. That is dumb.
He finally gets there, and, he's about to push the button. Mickey Rourke's about to push the button. It's going to kill all these people. Motherfucker comes up, unplugs it.
Yeah.
Game over.
Yep. So unplug it here.
Good plug, though.
It was easy to spot, too. It had two arrows pointing to it. Danger and, like, will result in death. Pointing right to it. Like, hey, it's right here. Just
the sign was phrased weird. It was like danger of death or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With skull and crossbones.
Yeah, and I thought there was a moment where it looked like Mickey Rourke and Alex Rider were going to kiss. Didn't happen.
I was ready, man. Yeah. Mickey Rourke was rocking that blue eyeliner hard.
There was another really funny part. Mickey Rourke's trying to shoot either Alex Rider or his girlfriend. Oh, no, that's right. He was trying to shoot Alex Rider, and his girlfriend comes out of nowhere and tackles him, right? And he shoots his gun, but it shoots up in the air, and then it flashes down to, like, the police on the street level.
Yeah, with the pigeon.
Just falls down next to him. I thought that was really funny.
Yeah, he just looks over for a second. He's like, what the fuck? I don't know. I was dying when Darius Smell pulls out a .50 caliber Desert Eagle, and Alex Rider has a electrical cord, and he says, "Get back, you!" And he's trying to whip Mickey Rourke. And it's like, why don't you just shoot this kid? Just bang, one time, he's done.
Yeah, there was some funny stuff. There was some like so cheesy it's funny stuff. It was
very campy.
Trying to make this campy and funny stuff. It was pretty enjoyable, to be honest.
It was a goofy movie. It made work pass by.
Yeah, it was clearly an attempt to make James Bond for kids. And with a PG rating, it's just really, really hard to do that. Like, it's hard to make a spy thriller for children. Because there's so much that goes in. You've got the women, you've got, death.
The guns, the booze, the cars.
Just things that you can't show to impressionable young minds are all tied up in the spy genre, which tune in next week to a podcast about something we'll be talking all about the spy genre.
Bang, bang, boom.
Yeah, it's just really hard to do. What do you got for a rating for this one?
I'm going to give it like a 4.2.
Way low. I gave it a 4.8 because it was campy and enjoyable. Like, it was... I'm not going to watch it again, but it was like funny. I didn't feel like I wasted my time. It was short enough.
I just kept... It was one of those where if I had drank like 3 beers, maybe 4, I probably would have given it like a 6. Just because it was really funny. Yeah, it was just... A lot of it was just so outrageous and so out there. I had a hard time just going with it.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It was rough at times. Are we ready to pick next week's or next month's, or do we have anything more on Alex Rider?
I think that's it for Alex Rider. I think he's ready to go to bed.
Sorry, dude. So
yeah, school night.
At our August list, which again, this is every movie between 1975 and 2015 that was released in the month of August. And just on the first page, August is a good month. You got the late-end summer blockbusters coming out. So just on the first page here of my Excel spreadsheet, I've got Triple X,
Nice.
Argo, Crank, Blade, Bait, Jack with Robin Williams. A lot of great movies just on the front page, so I'm excited to see what we get. We have 669 potential films.
Yeah.
And let's hit our random number generator.
do it.
133.
Teddy Tree.
Going past all those good movies I named.
Damn it.
The Ritz. 1976 comedy. 7.6 on IMDb. Richard Lester's director. Check it out on the IMDb. See who's in it.
Sounds like everyone that's probably in it is either dead or not in Hollywood anymore.
We'll see.
Sounds good. Which would be like Michael Caine, Ian McKellen. It's a bunch of great shit.
Ritz is Jack Weston, Rita Moreno, Jerry Stiller. He's always funny. I don't know if he was funny in the 70s, but we'll see. Yeah, I don't really know any of these people.
Nope.
On his deathbed, Carmine Vespucci's mobster father tells him to get Proclo. Carmine's brother-in-law, Gaetano, this is so confusing. With the hit on, Gaetano tells the cab driver to take him where Carmine Carmine can't find him. He arrives at the Ritz, a gay bathhouse where he is pursued amorously by Chevy Chase. Oh, this is going to be great.
Dude, no way,
This is
man!
going to be
Are you serious?
politically correct.
Bring it. What a great time. I live for this shit. So what is this called? The Ritz?
The Ritz.
R-I-T-Z?
Yep. Well, that will be interesting. Thank you for coming to listen to our random review. Thank you for being a Patreon subscriber. Now, only $1 a month gets you all the content. Tell your friends that they should also subscribe.
Definitely.
Thanks for stopping by.
The Bible says man without vision shall surely die.
Welcome to a podcast about some things Patreon exclusive. Once a month, we review a random movie released in that month between 1975 and 2015.
I said, baby, I don't hate you, but I hate to see you go.
The Ritz was our movie of the month from 1970 something or other, and feels every bit of it, doesn't it, Nick?
Yeah, dude, it's so dated. It's so dated.
It's a rough watch in 2019.
Just because it's very cringy. But I tell you what, man, it was more like a weird curiosity than anything that I kept watching. But I couldn't stop watching it, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I didn't want to keep it turned on, but I didn't want to look away either. It was very strange. So the plot basically is a man's brother-in-law is out to kill him. He arrives at a hotel in New York City on the run from his brother-in-law who's trying to kill him after his father-in-law died just out of natural causes. And but what he doesn't know is that it's actually a gay bathhouse.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun!
See, I thought it was gonna be like the fancy hotel, the Ritz. I thought that was like a fancy hotel. But
It is not that.
it isn't that in this movie. It's like, I'll tell you what though, the inside is kind of cool, man. But I must say, seeing the brother-in-law, which is actually Ben Stiller's dad.
Yep.
And you
Jerry
can see
Stiller in
like
there.
every ounce of Ben Stiller's physical comedy. You could tell he got that shit from his dad. He gives these
I mean, if
couple,
you've
like,
ever seen any Seinfeld with Frank Costanza, then you understand the hilarity of, or even King of Queens, you understand the hilarity of Jerry Stiller. It's just like, I don't know. This movie was didn't put anyone in a really good light.
No, I mean, you saw him for like 2 minutes at the beginning and then 12 minutes at the end. It was just, it had no idea what it wanted to do. It was so all over the place. But
It's
just
a very
bananas.
bizarre film.
Very. It was bananas. That's the best way I can think to say it.
So he gets to the hotel. He doesn't really know it's a gay safe haven or like this gay bathhouse where all the gay members of New York, kind of, they can be free there. Let's just say that, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
It's the 70s.
In the 70s,
You
for
couldn't
sure.
really be open with your gayness everywhere. So they had it. This was kind of a safe place for them to just be who they are and be who they want to be. And guess what? At this place, there are all kinds of crazy homos.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy gay dudes. And they dropped the hard F word. And
Oh, yeah.
This movie had all kinds of crazy trumped up bullshit. But the guy
He
was
learns
just
about
like,
chubby chasers.
yeah, oh yeah, dude, sorry, excuse me. It was out there, man. The character, so let me say, the guy you're following, I still don't even remember his name.
I don't know his name. Let me
he
see if
changed
I
it
wrote
like
it down
6
anywhere.
times. But
Well, yeah, because he gave them his brother-in-law's name to like try and stay under the radar.
Carmine
and-
something.
Yeah, Carmine, and then somebody else thought he was that person, and it was very strange. I don't know his name either. I watched it like 2 weeks ago too, so I didn't. Probably should have wrote it in my notes somewhere, but I didn't because it didn't feel like it was important.
I don't know. It stuck with me though. But he told this taxi driver, just take me somewhere that this dude won't find me. So he
That
takes
nobody
him,
will find me.
Yeah,
Yep.
to the gay bathhouse, I guess. And right off the bat, they're in the front lobby for like 20 minutes. It feels like just meeting the string of characters. Like you meet this odd dude with a foldable bike, this Hispanic chick who is just this trumped up like Cuban caricature.
May or may not. I think she's Puerto Rican, and she may or may not be a transvestite.
Yes,
Everyone thinks she is.
They all assume she's a transvestate.
Yes.
She's also like
but she
a
might
singer,
actually not be.
But
Yes.
dude, she reminds me of
she's a performer.
Scarface.
I can see that. I liked the chubby chaser. He was kind of funny. He reminded me a lot of Dean Pelton from Community.
That makes sense. Yeah, he kind of looked like him
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, a little bit. And just kind of the over the top, but still kind of behind the curtain gayness to him.
Yeah,
Very, very funny.
he was chill, dude.
He
Surprisingly
might have been
chill.
he might have been the only funny gay caricature, because there were a lot of gay caricatures in this film. I don't know if I can call it a film, in this piece of art, let's call it.
This progressive ass shit.
Yeah. So the main character, he finds out really early in the plot that it is what it is, which I was surprised by. I thought there would be a lot more hijinks leading up to him finding out, and that would kind of be the turning point. But he finds out pretty quickly where he is and what goes on there. And then the most of the hilarity, if we can call it that, is him trying to keep the homos away from him, because obviously, the homos, they can't withstand a straight man in their midst.
I don't even know if it was that, dude. It was just that's not kind of.
No, it's not that at all.
They just they way overblew. They made it the stereotypical like.
Well, and they didn't make like one person. I know exactly what you're saying. They had all of the gay stereotypes thrown in, but it wasn't like
all in one for everybody, and it just there was no.
It wasn't the
sane-
token gay character that you see in like 90s movies or early 2000s. It's for each gay stereotype, we're gonna have a different character.
Which was
We got the
terrible.
thought of transvestite. We've got the chubby chaser, over the top guy. We've got
he's my favorite.
the sexually expressive guy who's just like always fucking naked.
Chris.
We've got the
Super
the cop who he wasn't gay. He was there trying to chase him down, or the detective, whatever
Detective
he was,
Brick.
with the really high voice. But everybody thinks he's gay because he has the high voice.
You meet him in the front lobby, and he's sent there by the brother-in-law to follow our main dude, and he walks up to the counter all serious in his big trench coat and hat. I'll take a room, please.
He's really freaked out by the maybe not transvestite too.
I think he's freaked out by all the gay. Yeah,
definitely.
that's what he definitely is. The main guy kind of flowed with it, especially with the chubby chaser dude, because this guy. Oh God, what is his name?
He just didn't want to be come on to. Like he was like,
Yeah,
he was fine with where he was. He just didn't want the chubby chaser to keep coming after him. Which turns out he served. Claude Perkins was the chubby chaser. He served in the army. I remember his name, but not
Claude
the main
Perkins.
character.
But
He
was
served
just,
in the army with the main character at some point, and he can't believe that he turned out gay.
Yeah, I mean he's just really sick because he didn't turn out gay, or he wasn't gay.
Well,
or
an army man
didn't
shouldn't
know.
be gay, I think is what they're getting at.
Exactly, and I mean I'm sure Claude knew that in the army he was gay, just couldn't express that shit. But he just wants to go to sleep. But
He just needs a place to lie down for the night, get away from the brother-in-law.
Claude was a little aggressive though, man. He locked him in his room and started straight up throwing candy bars through the window. He's talking about this huge spread of delicious food, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, this sounds so good.
Would I allow myself to be sexually assaulted for all this candy?
Not even candy. This is like a 10-course meal. He's like a chocolate layer cake and a roast and all this crazy stuff, and it's like, I don't know, man.
Well, and then
Sounds really good.
maybe not transvestite tries to seduce him because she thinks he's a producer, and she's a singer. She's a performer of some sort that thinks she's really good, and she's really terribly bad. But I will have to say, out of all of the stuff that's going on, security is pretty solid in this place.
Yeah, seriously, those guys are...
They keep Claude Perkins away from him, when they can help it. They, when he walks in on the dude who wants to be naked all the time, they kick him out quick. They've got a handle on the transvestite woman. The security is top notch. Which is great.
It's like Tiger and something else. I don't even remember the other guy's name. But I wrote specifically 3 notes about these guys. I wrote, the security is fabulous.
Yep.
Bunch of
Maybe
dudes.
you need to work there. Yeah, you said you've been looking for a new job. There we go.
I'm
they
fucking
need some
good,
extra
y'all.
security at the Ritz.
I got maced, and I'm good. Fuck security. You can suck it. and then I wrote, a bunch of dudes on the floor start flexing on the fat dude. when they all start crowding around him, and they're just flexing. And I wrote, assless chaps and all was my last note. So I mean, that kind of gives you a little glimpse of how stereotypical these guys are, but they are. A lot of them are just kind of goofy and funny. Seeing this dude's physical comedy react. He almost reminded me of an off-brand John Goodman. Just not as
him
good.
or a John Belushi kind of type guy.
Exactly. Or Chris Farley even, that kind of weird physical wacky comedy.
He's a little bit toned down from those guys, but he's got kind of the same thing going on of I'm fat and I'm going to play into that a little bit, but I'm also going to be physical with it. He does a good job.
He did a pretty good job reacting.
I think I've seen him in other things. I didn't really look too extensively.
Familiar.
He does look familiar though.
Familiar.
So then eventually Jerry Stiller catches up to him at the Ritz, and they're basically, Jerry Stiller and the main character, they're trying to straight bait each other. Where they've got the gay guys that they know, or the detective and the always naked gay guy are trying to seduce the other one. It was really confusing what they were doing there, while the other one hid under the bed, and they were trying to straight bait each other and take pictures so that they could own
this dude's company.
The garbage company. That's what it was.
Company. It was just some wacky ass shit, man. It really was.
But then it turns out he also owns the Ritz. He also owns the prostitutes that run through there. He owns the cab company that brought the main character there. So Jerry Stiller and their family owns all this shit. And I guess in the end we find out maybe Jerry Stiller is a patron of this place.
I think that's
kind of what we're supposed to expect at the end. Yeah.
But my favorite part of the whole movie was when he showed up. And he's kind of just walking through. He was another one who's just really freaked out to be there. And he's just walking, and I don't know why I found it funny, but basically nothing is happening. He's just walking along, and all of a sudden this guy's somewhat near him. He's like, "Hey, watch your step, Mac." It's what? Watch your step, Mac? But I don't know. It was a really goofy ass thing to say. I don't know.
I mean, the whole movie was a goofy ass thing to be made. I can't believe this movie was made.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was the 70s, so I get that we were more liberal with these kind of things and not as woke, but it's still pretty rough even for the 70s. So the plan was that Jerry Stiller, once the father-in-law died, Jerry Stiller didn't want to share the sanitation or any of the companies that he had his hands in with his brother-in-law, who is the main character. So he tricks him, I guess, into going to the Ritz because he owns the cab company. The cab company takes him to the Ritz. He owns the Ritz. And basically he wanted the detective to catch him there in homosexual acts, even though the main character is not a homosexual. He wanted to somehow catch him in the act. I guess he thinks just someone will automatically come on to him because, gay people be crazy.
Well, that's just how,
they just come on to anyone.
Bro. That's just what they did back then, I guess.
Any of our gay listeners, let us know if you just can't help yourself around other men. I'm sure that's how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So he wants to catch him. He's trying to have the detective catch him, take pictures, and then basically blackmail him into giving up his shares in the company. And because he doesn't want to share his company with a homo, even though he's not actually a homo, he has to force him into a situation. Anyway, the tables all get turned at some point, and Jerry Stiller gets handcuffed to a bed, and then
like
the main
breaks
character
really-
sends Claude Perkins into that room basically to sexually assault him after knocking him out and handcuffing him to the bed.
Pretty much, yeah. This is
like that's what's gonna happen, right?
This is graphic violence, y'all.
Yeah.
Special
He's like,
victims even in this
hey,
bitch.
you're Chubby Chaser. He's in room 103 or whatever the room is, and like Dean Pelton's going in there to go to town.
Yeah, that was a really weird scene, man. It was just another one. There was like a series of super weird scenes in the last
there was like
35
a series
minutes.
Of an hour and about 35 minutes of weird scenes in this movie.
Like right around this time,
Right
Gooey,
around at like the 001 mark, it started getting weird.
dude, it was out there. Like when Gooby, the transvestite Cuban lady, or whatever she is, when she straight up grabs the main character by his dick and throws him down a laundry chute, and then yells "Pendejo!" and jumps down the motherfucker too.
No, she did that to Claude Perkins, I thought.
No, I thought she did that to.
No,
oh yeah, that was
because
to
Claude Perkins was making fun of her for being
That
Puerto
was to
Rican or
Claude
something like
Perkins.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, she grabbed the chubby
Which makes
chaser.
more sense because he's really tiny, so
Yeah.
it was like easier for him to throw her.
But either way, she picked up a dude by his nutsack and threw him down a fucking laundry chute, and then yelled "Pendejo" and jumped after him. Like what?
And then the dude's wife shows up, and she's in on it with the brother-in-law.
Is she though?
And she may or may not get assaulted. She's in it. She wants the money, but then she ends up walking away from the brother with the husband. Like I really don't know what happened with her.
I have no idea, man.
I think she was kind of ugly, and she was supposed to be kind of ugly.
She was
So I think they just
super
wanted
ugly.
her in there to make fun of her being ugly because they made fun of every other thing. So
That was literally my first note that I took is the wailing is a bit much, but the chick's haircut looks kind of like a wiener. So I mean, this chick wailed really loud, and her haircut.
Oh,
made
when
her
her
look like a
father
dick.
died?
Yeah, I mean that.
I didn't even really
kinda
notice
can't
her
stand that.
like in that first scene when at the funeral or it wasn't really a funeral because like he's on his deathbed, so they're all just kind of there waiting. The whole family's there waiting, and then he dies. Like I wasn't paying real close attention. I was working while I was watching, and like I wasn't paying super close attention and notice any of that. And then I saw her come. I didn't see her come in until she came in the end of the movie, and I was like, oh damn, what the hell is going on there?
Yeah, she was a bit much at the beginning of the movie, but I think they did that on purpose. I think they were like, listen, honey, if you want this part, you want to make it in Hollywood, you got to get your hair cut kind of like a penis. We're implying a few things with this movie, so.
Yeah.
Now you
I don't even know if there's any implications in this movie. It's pretty straightforward with how it wants to portray its characters.
How much better to be more straightforward than to literally make the one woman in the movie's hair, except for I don't think she's a transvestite. I don't know. They never solved the problem with Gooby.
I think she wasn't. I think it turned out she wasn't because
Okay,
she told him she's all woman, but like maybe you can't believe her. Maybe she's lying to get what she wants because she still thinks he's a producer. All that. I don't know.
Who knows? The mystery
I don't
of the Ritz.
Final thoughts.
Hit me.
Oh, I was letting you go first.
Oh.
I thought those were your final thoughts, just silence.
Oh yeah, no. My
Basically.
final thoughts are thus, good sir. I honestly might watch it again in like 15 years.
No.
Yeah, I might in like
You
15
can't.
years while I'm sitting on the couch with my wife and we've had like 2 bottles of wine and we're just like, let's just watch this dumbass movie.
No, there's no way.
2 bottles of
There's
wine will
no
make
way.
you want to watch a stupid movie, trust me.
There's a lot better stupid movies. If you have 2 bottles of wine and need a stupid movie, watch Strange Wilderness. Like, that's a stupid movie that's still fun to watch. This is not that.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't say it was fun. I was definitely just like, man, I can't look away. Because it was all like little goofy. It was almost like Airplane. Like that comedy kind of throughout, like just weird shit. I don't know. It wasn't necessarily stuff I found laugh out loud funny. It was more
I don't know that I laughed at all.
I laughed
yeah,
out
most-
loud when Gooby grabbed the dude by his dick and threw him by the laundry down the laundry chute. That one, and when the dude
I
first
laugh
talked,
at it when you describe it the way it is, but like watching it, I was just like, well, this has gone to a whole nother level of stupid. But when you keep describing it, it gets funnier and funnier.
oh, dude, it was fucking hilarious when I said, "I'd like a room, sir." And he walks around it like for 3/4 in the movie. They're in either robes or towels, and
Or just completely
Naked.
buck-ass naked
Yeah, basically.
with your hair sweater going on.
hair sweater. But Brick is like, he has this little notepad that he carries around in his towel, and I just, little shit like that I found hilarious. You know, he's throwing candy bars in the room. So it was good for a chuckle. That's about it. And in retrospect, it's obviously funnier in my mind than when it was when I was watching it.
It's definitely funnier to talk about than it was to watch.
Absolutely.
All of the quote-unquote humor, or what they attempted to be humor, seemed to be derived from gay people. Just the fact that being gay is funny. And it's not a normal thing. So just somebody being gay is a funny thing. Let's laugh at them. And then they also kind of threw in some, haha, there's a brown person, they talk funny. Let's laugh at that too.
Yeah, that was a bit much, but
With the transvestite Puerto Rican woman, like, she was like, that's not her real accent. It can't be. She was definitely playing it up to be, haha, brown people talk funny.
it was like it was like Dee playing blackface in
Right.
Always Sunny. Or whatever, her Hispanic character in Always Sunny,
Yeah,
where she's got
yeah, I
the
remember
foot-long
that.
fingernails and shit. It was like that. But, so I wasn't laughing about that. I just thought it was really funny. She threw somebody down a laundry chute.
I get that. I get
Um,
that, how that's funny.
Yeah. And otherwise, the throwing candy bars into the room, that, I don't know why that's funny, but it is. If someone's just like, hey, eat these, bro, I'd be like, okay.
Sure. Why
Yeah.
not?
Oh, you giving me $100,000 and a payday? Shit. I'm gonna eat them both.
It's by far a product of its time in the mid 70s. Like, there's no doubt about that. There's no getting around it. It's a very tough watch in 2019. I wouldn't recommend anyone watch it in 2019.
If you're
I don't-
easily
I don't-
offended, do not watch this movie
Oh yeah, absolutely not.
because you will
That would be
be
terrible.
super upset this whole movie. I can tell you that. But if you just kind of
100%.
if you're just like, well, it's just a movie to me.
And I
kinda have
get
my
that,
own-
and I don't want to argue that point with you, that it's just a movie. It's there. It's not really harmful unless, like you said, if you are super offended by everything, then yeah, you're going to be offended by this movie. But it's not an overly offensive movie. It's just, it's not funny enough to make up for anything else that goes on. Like there isn't
definitely
any
not.
other humor than point and laugh at gay people, point and laugh at the lady who talks funny. And to me, that even if it were the 70s, I don't think I would find that funny. Like it's not. It's very dumb comedy.
Exactly. It's super dumb comedy. And
It's very
that's
surface level.
about it.
Yeah.
And it was, let's be honest, it's pretty fucking rough. But I honestly would prefer this kind of, this is just terrible to say. Not really, honestly. This is just pretty honest. I'd prefer a movie like this over the movies that kind of came out in like the 80s and 90s and stuff, where gay people are just AIDS carriers and
Right.
they're all fucking dying of AIDS and they're
Like
just
that was the
terrible.
stereotype, yeah.
Exactly. And it's like, I'd much
This
rather
was-
have it where these guys are happy, like they're happy and they're doing their thing.
It was oddly, prideful in its gayness. It was.
Oh yeah, they didn't give a fuck,
They,
dude. Especially
they made fun of it and they stereotyped everyone, but the gay characters were very comfortable with themselves, and that's what you get in this safe haven that is the Ritz. Is everybody can be themselves. The only thing that I would say is highly offensive in there is the character of Claude, where he's just like a complete horn dog. But if that
Yeah,
were
he
a
had a
straight
little-
character and he were a horn dog like that, it would be offensive then too. So it's not because he's gay and he's a horn dog, it's because he's a horn dog who wants to basically assault people.
Yeah, fatten them up and shit, which is just super weird. But yeah, I'd much rather prefer that. I mean, it was a lighthearted thing. I just feel
Yeah.
I was so sick of that shit.
It's pretty positive in its portrayal of who gay people want to be, rather than being like, you shouldn't be gay, it's evil. It's
Yeah,
the only person who had that outlook was
shit.
Jerry Stiller. Yeah.
Which is just horrendous when you think about it.
What do you give it for a rating out of 10?
After our diatribe there,
Yeah.
I feel like I have to give it like a 3. My initial reaction, I will say, was probably
Yeah,
like
say what you would give it.
My initial reaction was probably like a 5.
Okay.
It was one of those
I had
where,
a 4.
Yeah,
I had it at a 4.
I'd probably watch it again in the future if I'm thinking about my little brother. My brother was gay, so it was one of those where it was like, oh, you know, my brother did none of this shit, so it made it more obvious. But if I'm ever thinking about it, it's like, hey, man, watch this stupid ass movie. He'd laugh at it with me.
This is the only gay positive movie you can think of?
Literally the only one I can think of.
Go watch Moonlight. I don't know how
Never
positive
seen
that is. It's good, but I don't know how gay positive it is because he kind of gets the shit beat out of him a couple times.
Fuck, dude, it's always something like that.
It's an Oscar
Mountain,
winner, man.
Dude gets his beat to death. Like, what?
Yeah.
I never saw that, but I remember pretty much everybody I knew, my mother and my stepmother and stuff, were just like, oh my god, this is the way he got beat to death. It was crazy. It's like, oh, I kind of expected that. It's been the trend lately, which is terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then you get things like Dallas Buyers Club and Philadelphia, where like they're critically acclaimed movies. They're good. They're good movies.
So
it's just
good.
like, let's just use the gayness as a stand-in for disease, and
He's got AIDS.
you know, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically everybody's got fucking AIDS, and I'm sick of that shit.
Yeah.
I digress, though.
All right, it's time to pick next month's movie.
Let's do it.
We're going to be taking most of September off from the regular podcast feed, but we still will do a random movie review somewhere in there. It may not be till the end of September, or it may be in the middle somewhere. We'll try and get some content. For September, we have 1,113 movies to choose from.
Damn.
Which is by far the highest number we've come across so far. Random number generator, go! Number 64. Low number. This could be interesting.
That's going to be a good one.
Could be interesting. Well, they're all randomized. Maxi.
Damn.
1985 comedy. 5.4 on IMDb. Oh boy. We might be in for another scare here.
I'm voting for a reroll.
We might need one. Let's read the IMDb description first.
Let's do it.
Internet is not cooperating.
91% like this movie.
On Rotten Tomatoes?
Google users.
Yeah. Those are smart people, I think.
It's a fantasy comedy
All right. I like fantasy comedy.
plot.
Could deal with that. Glenn Close, Mandy Patinkin, Ruth Gordon,
I don't feel like reading all of this.
Googie Gress is in this? Come on now.
Who the fuck is named Googie
I don't know.
again? Like, what? Back to back.
A 1920s flapper who haunts her old house possesses a reserved housewife who just moved in. However, she cannot leave before she receives her massive audition for a Hollywood studio. Interesting. It's got Glenn Close.
I mean, I'm game. I'll watch it.
We got it now. The randomizer selected.
It has spoken.
All right. That's all we got for the Ritz. We will see you next month for Maxi.
Maxi
Exciting.
does. Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for being a patron. Thanks for stopping by.
The Bible says man without vision shall surely